After 16 years, thousands of lives, probably $1 trillion spent, the Afghans don't seem to be able to defend themselves. Maybe people say if we left tomorrow, the Taliban would take over, so therefore we have to stay. When will the Afghans be ready to defend themselves, Mr. Shriver?
I'd be hesitant to put a time frame on it. I think the scrutiny is understandable. I would share every frustration that you mentioned about the time and investment. I do think the approach that we've adopted, we're 6 months into it, we're not into the new fighting season, traditional fighting season yet, I think gives us a better chance to achieve results on the battlefield, which will give us a better chance at the political settlement.
The original mandate from Congress was to go after those who attacked us on 9/11 or aided or abetted those who attacked us. Who's left over there that aided or abetted the attack on 9/11? Specific individuals that we're still looking for that aided or attacked it or were involved with the 9/11 attack?
Senator, I believe there are both elements of al-Qaeda that are still remnants of al-Qaeda that are still in existence in Afghanistan, as well as the more lethal development of ISIS-K in Afghanistan.
Right.
So those would be the terrorist elements that we would be most
There's a real question, though, whether or not these people want to come attack us here, whether they want to control Afghanistan, whether this is a civil war in Afghanistan, and by all appearances it is a civil war in Afghanistan. And so I think there is a real question whether this has anything left to do with 9/11. You could say the Tories favored not letting us leave, and there's still Tories in England. I mean, are we going to be discussing this in 250 years from now? I think there's an argument to be made that our national security is actually made more perilous the more we spend and the longer we stay there. And I'm not saying we don't go after those who attack us and plot to attack us, but everybody comes and says we're not nation building, when in reality we are nation building, and then some want more nation building. They don't think we're doing enough nation building. And, if you look at the list of things we've spent money on, $45 million on a natural gas station in the defense budget because we're greening up Afghanistan. We got to put a green footprint on Afghanistan. Well, it turned out nobody had a natural gas car over there, so then we bought them natural gas cars. Then nobody had any money, so we got them credit cards so they could use at the natural gas station over there. That's absurd, and people are horrified by what we've done with that. We spent $79 million on an embassy in Mazar al-Sharif, never opened. It was all done, I think, at Clinton and Holbrooke's request, and yet they looked at it finally and they found out there was a courtyard with tall buildings all around it and said, hey, we can't have an embassy where everybody can shoot down into the courtyard. And I think it was never occupied. We signed a 10-year lease on it. Millions and millions, getting to the trillions of dollars spent. There is no military solution. We don't even know who to negotiate with. We don't know who the good guys in the Taliban are, if there are any, or who are not. We don't seem to be very forthright with how many people we're fighting. Are we fighting, if we can't answer Senator Johnson's questions in round terms, 10,000 Taliban, 100,000 Taliban, 1 million Taliban? Sure, they slink away. We had 100,000 troops there. We can win. They all slink away when there's 100,000 troops facing them, then they come back when there's not. How are we going to defeat them with 10,000 if we couldn't defeat them with 100,000? Maybe it's time we have a frank discussion, Congress, whether or not there is a military solution in Afghanistan. We're spending $50 billion a year. That could be better spent. I'd give the military all a pay raise and bring all the people home from Afghanistan. I'd upgrade the nuclear arsenal. There are all kinds of things we could do with that $50 billion a year, but it's just being thrown down, a hatch in Afghanistan. So I think we really have to reassess this. I don't even know how we get to negotiate with the Taliban if we don't know who we're going to, we're going to negotiate with the people who just exploded something? Obviously not. But then there's a good guy forum of Taliban meeting somewhere? We don't know that. We're in an impossible situation. And so I see no hope for it, and I feel sorry for putting the military in this position. And we shouldn't be nation building. We're not very good at it. And I just hope that somebody will come here someday from an administration and say, it's time that we reassess what we're doing in Afghanistan. So I don't see a bright future for Afghanistan, and I don't fault the military. I just don't think there is a military solution. Thanks.